botanists would claim, Latin, people who study Latin would tell you that CH is pronounced with a K. So actually, no, I think so. Cypress, I think. If you hear people really know what they're talking about, or not, as the case may be.
There's none of them here, so we'll just carry on.
They normally say Cypress. And this is obtusa, I would think. Is it obtusa?
I think so.
Do you think it's obtusa?
She said Nana, maybe?
Could be Nana gracilis.
Could be.
And we're showing up. Common name, Hinoki cypress. Japanese origin tree, almost certainly not from Japan. From where?
A garden centre.
Garden centre.
Yeah.
Purchased by yourself?
No, got it as a Christmas present.
All right.
So
As a bonsai?
just as it is.
Just as it is?
Yeah.
Hmm. All right.
And I started to take away some of the soil, you know, at that corner, just to see what's in there. But there was a lot of wee roots or fibres, so I just stopped in case I was doing more harm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I've no idea, obviously no idea what's
It's a nice Christmas present.
what's in there.
It's a nice Christmas present. Huh?
You know,
Thought I did well.
We'd have a better idea if we looked at the roots, maybe as to. I don't think it's an imported tree. I think it is made from a kind of horticultural sourced Hinoki, and actually I think it's got quite a lot of potential. So you brought it today with a view to what?
Well, I'd be intrigued. Hold on a second. I'd be intrigued to see what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
If it's
Be
possible.
roots and soil. You know, with years and years of training, I can actually reassure you that there'll be roots and soil in there.
Aye, but is there another big clump of wood, or is it roots only, or is there a
we're
big
being a
clump
bit
of something?
facetious here, aren't we?
And then can I repot it into something more sensible?
Whatever way we ended up shaping this tree, we probably won't get much of that done today, but whichever way we did, almost certainly this is not an appropriate pot for the tree to be in. So what I might suggest today, well, you've got two choices really. We could leave it in this pot, and we could make some decisions about shaping the tree, and a way to go. I mean, I think that's kind of tricky to do it that way round, because what we can't see so well the base of the trunk. We can't see really the movement of the trunk so well, the way it's potted in this thing. And to make the absolute best from this tree, we actually do need to see that. We need to know from you need to know how much goes on down into here, because if this has got all the most important roots on it, and they're all down here, which is actually quite unlikely, but supposing it was, then we can't make this into an informal upright, which is what it's trying to be, because it's always going to have to be in a deep pot. So, you know, some idea about what the roots are like and what space they need bears a big relationship to the way we shape the tree. There's a really interesting point actually when you're working on raw material, and that is that you always have to bear in mind what you think the roots are like if you don't know, or what you know the roots are like, and how that actually impinges upon the way you style the tree. For instance, if you've got a tree that's in a 4-foot wooden box, and actually there's lots of big roots in that, it's no good trying to make a literati tree from that piece of raw material, because a literati tree is going to have to go in a really small pot for it ever to look convincing. So, you know, what you think is the potential of the root ball in terms of size and shape has to be borne in mind all the time when you're making a shape from a tree. And another aspect to that on those lines is if you have really good surface roots all the way around the trunk, is it really a good idea to try and make that tree into a semi-cascade or a full cascade? Because you'd have to tip the whole thing up, and then half of your root ball is going to be stuck up in the air. Now, sometimes that is okay. Sometimes that will still get the best results from your tree, and you need to work out a way to persuade the tree to do without the half of the root ball that's stuck up in the air, which it probably can't do today if it's been relying on that root ball for the last 20 years. But you can persuade it over a period of time that it actually doesn't need that root ball, and then you might be able to make a feature of the roots that are stuck up in the air. But that's kind of an extreme example, because in a large number of cases, the valuable surface roots that you see are going to be such an important part of the image that it would be crazy to style it as a cascade simply because of that. You would end up losing perhaps one of the main features of the tree. So the consequence of that is that it's always a good idea, even if it means taking a little bit longer to actually do the shaping of the top part of the tree, to get this potted into something else. Unless we find that actually all the roots do go down there, which we better put it back in there. I'm pretty much certain we won't actually. So my suggestion would be we get it out of this pot, we have a really good look at the root ball, we see what we've got, we make an assessment about what might be a good pot to put it into. You know, ideally from my point of view, the most expensive pot that's out there by there, that would be fine. We may still, at the end of the day, have a quick look at it and say, well, we've stressed the tree quite a lot by disturbing the roots, but actually it's quite clear to us that the way we end up shaping this tree is not going to be able to use those two branches. It's possible. I mean, we might be able to use them, I don't know, but if we said, well, we've done a lot of work on the tree, but actually there's no way you're going to use this tree, this branch, then we would be fine in cutting that branch off. So, we'll look at that at the end of the day, but the main part of today's work is actually to get it out of this pot, have a look at the root ball. It looks to me as though you've got lots of fibrous root, so that's a good thing. So, lots of repotting things. Peter, what have you got?